Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, I will show you guys the Infinity Clan Boss team. I think this is the first ever Clan Boss video I make on my channel because I have been using Unkillable Clan Boss team for over a year. I think a lot of players are the same. Look at these. Bad Eater. Everybody's running Bad Eater. But look at this one. Who is this guy here? On the top. This is the Infinity Clan Boss team setup. I think I have to say this is not original. I think another content creator, Murder Inc., already made a video about this team setup. I think in his video he was using 2 Lanakis, but I don't have 2 Lanakis. I only have 1, so I found a replacement for this team setup, which is Godseeker. In this video, I'll show you guys the gear and team setup and how to set up their AI. And I think after I watched my Murder Inc.'s video, I was the only one in my clan that actually tried that team out, and I made a lot of mistakes building these champions. And so I decided to make this video to show you guys the mistakes I made and kind of warn you guys not to make these mistakes. So it's gonna be a fun one, and let's get into it. Alright, so first let me explain the logic behind this team. As you can see, all these 5 champions here, Krisk, Lanakis, and Godseeker. They are 3 completely different champions, but they do have one mechanic in common, which is extend duration of all buffs by 1 turn for all allied champions. So yeah, which means actually Lanakis and Krisk or Godseeker, they all can be replaced. There are other champions in this game that can do the same thing, and for the optimal team setup, it's gonna be Krisk and double Lanakis. But like I said, I only have 1 Lanakis. It works fine, but the most important champion among these buff extenders are Krisk. So if you don't have Krisk, you're probably not going to 1 key it. But 2 key is good enough probably for a lot of players, right? So you can literally put 3 Godseekers here, or you can put a champion, I think it's called Flash Terror. It's a Skinwalker Epic. This guy also has a buff extend mechanic. I'll show you guys the gear in a second, but there are a lot of champions in this game that do the same thing. Also Last Survivor, right? And in this team setup, the only champion is mandatory, which means it's not replaceable. It's Brogni. Brogni is the most important one and cannot be replaced. And Dracomorph is whatever, because he's a damage dealer, right? You can literally use a Feign, or you can use a Bellonor. It's gonna work. So basically, Krisk is gonna have 2 shields, right? And what Brogni does is he's gonna A2 the clan boss. This actually has a 6.6 damage multiplier, which hits really hard, and he's gonna hit clan boss 100k. He's gonna increase the value of shield on all allies by 30% of the damage inflicted, and it's going to increase the shield by 30k, which is a lot. And we have 3 buff extenders, and these 3 champions are going to extend buff on my teams by a lot. And I think when my team finally dies, the champion has 20 turns of buffs on themselves. So it's absolutely insane. And now let me show you guys the gears. Alright, so first let me show you guys the Krisk build. I think it's this one, in a shield set and perception set. So I will still suggest people to use a shield set on him if you want to try this comp, because shield set is a completely different buff than our normal shield buff. So everyone is gonna have 2 shield buffs, and Brogni's A2 can extend both shield buffs. And that's why I still recommend people to go with shield set, and then a perception set, because he can do an attack down. Even though attack down is probably not really necessary if you just want to hit 1 key requirement, which is 71 million. But if you want to push 100 million, then you should probably build him with a little bit accuracy like I did. And then we can see here high defense, because he's a defensive based champion. If he has more defense, he will do more damage. Even though Krisk, if he use A1 only, he doesn't really have a lot of damage. He probably does 10 million damage from my 100 million key, so it's probably, he doesn't do that much damage. That's why you can see here the crit rate or crit damage, you don't have to build him like this. you can just build a Krisk like this one. This is the Krisk I use for arena. You can build a Krisk like this, no crit rate at all, because he just doesn't do that much damage. And the mastery is I go with offense tree and defense tree, and that's pretty much it, I guess. A very standard Krisk build for clan boss. And another thing I want to add on that is that Krisk speed. He is the fastest champion in this team setup. Also, like in this team setup, there is no like specific speed requirement. It's not like unkillable team. You have to have this speed. For this Infinity Clan Boss team, the fastest champion needs to be around 260, which is Krisk, and the slowest champion is going to be around 205, which is going to be my Dracomorph. I will show you guys in a second. And the rest of the champion, you can just build them speed within that range. It doesn't really matter. Like it's not about exact speed. So the reason that he needs to be this fast is that he can do a very interesting A3, which is 30% increased speed on all allies except this champion. So it's a little bit weird because everyone else in the team are going to have 30% increased speed, so they don't have to be very fast. And yeah, let me show you guys the second one is Lanakis. Lanakis is very important, but she can be replaced. The reason that she's important is that you can notice all the champions that I have on this team setup, their crit rate is all like around 70%, right? A little bit above 70%. That is because her A3, 30% increased crit rate. This is massive, and with this Infinity Clan Boss team setup, this 30% crit rate will never expire. It's gonna be on everybody for like 20 turns. So for every champion in this team setup, they only need 70% crit rate. So like if you don't have Lanakis, well, you have to build your comp, every champion with 100% crit rate. So it might be a little bit tougher. That's why I feel like Lanakis just makes things a lot easier. And you can see I built her with a lot of attack. She doesn't hit that hard, but some attack is always nice. Also, I think I'm using a attack ring. Maybe I'm using a defensive banner. Yeah, some defense is nice, right? And that's pretty much it. Also, like the reflex set is very important. I think on my Lanakis and Godseeker, they're both on reflex set, so they can keep this infinity buff extending mechanic going. So because this thing is 4 turns cooldown, and both Krisk and Godseeker's buff extend is 3 turns cooldown, so it's very important to put Lanakis on a reflex set. In terms of mastery, just kind of go with offense and support tree. Just go with War Master, and the rest doesn't really matter. Like I said, there is no specific speed requirement. You can literally pick any mastery you want. You can pick this one, rapid response. It doesn't really matter. And then let me show you guys the Godseeker, the last buff extender in my team setup. Alright, this guy here. Sorry, this lady here. Again, in a reflex set, you can see here the crit rate is about 70% because Lanakis has a 30% increased crit rate, so technically she is going to have 100% crit rate. And the good thing is her damage is scaled off of defense. A1 and A2 are both defense based. That's why we can build her defense very high. The higher the defense is, the more damage she does, and she probably does like 10 to 15% more damage than Krisk, so she doesn't do that much damage anyways. And mastery, I think, is for the offense tree is exactly the same, and go with defense tree to give her a little bit more defense, and that's pretty much it. And the good thing is her buff extending mechanic is 3 turns cooldown, which is 1 turn less than Lanakis, which is really good. Alright, then let me show you guys the most important champion in this team setup, which cannot be replaced. That is Brogni here. I built this Brogni in a offense set and 2 cruel set. And as you can see, HP doesn't really matter, even though he's technically a HP champion, but all his damage is based on attack. But his base attack is very low, 782. It's very low, but you still got build him with attack because he actually has very good multiplier. I don't remember what this one is, but his A2, this is a 6.6 damage multiplier, which is very high in terms of single target hit. And then the speed, like I said, you don't have to build him this fast. For this team setup, there's no specific speed requirement. The fastest champion is Krisk, which is 260. The slowest is Dracomorph, which is 205. The rest just somewhere in between. It doesn't really matter. You can build him like 220. It doesn't really matter. And for the crit rate, 70%, not surprised. And one big mistake I made when I first building this comp is completely ignore his defense. Because Murder Inc. actually didn't mention about defense. so I think he should mention this to his viewers. But I just kind of figured out, because defense actually matters. Especially like, I think 3500 is the optimal value for a champion's defense in clan boss if that champion is not defensive based. So like, at first I built him with 0 defense, pretty much no defense at all. His defense is like 2000, and he will die at around turn 50. And if I glyph a lot of gears, like these are leftover gears for me. I don't put very best gear on him. Like if I glyph his gear, I should be able to get his defense to like 3500, which is very helpful. He is still a little bit squishy at the moment, but before go to the next champion, I still have to do some flicks, okay? Bear with me. Let's take a look at this. Should I even say anything else? Just showing you guys this. Alright, let's move on to Dracomorph. Oh, by the way, I forgot to show you guys the mastery. So the mastery is offense tree and support tree, and like I literally just copied it from Ayumi Love. So don't ask me why I go with this. I don't even know, okay? So then let's move on to Dracomorph. This is a Dracomorph I use. I geared him in triple Kuro set. I used to gear Dracomorph in a Savage and Kuro set. And I asked Murder Inc. He said like it's not necessary to build too much ignore defense because Clan Boss has a very low base defense anyway. So I just go with triple Kuro set. And one thing that is very important is look at this defense. I made a very big mistake building Dracomorph with no defense, and I failed. My Dracomorph will die at around turn 50 if I build him with 0 defense. So right now I gear my Dracomorph in 3200 defense, so he is able to survive until like turn 75 or something. Then look at this. I literally put a defense percentage chest plate on him, and I still like these are still leftover gears. I don't have the best Kuro set for this champion, and I think that's good enough. Alright, let's see. This is the team. Also, another important thing is putting Krisk as lead is very important because he is the only attack down in my team, and Krisk has a passive that can place decrease defense and decrease attack, right? So like this, how this passive works is that if Clan Boss AoE my entire team, right? Krisk will receive damage first, then Krisk will apply the decreased attack to the Clan Boss. So when the rest of my team actually receive damage, they will receive the damage after the attack down is applied. So it's very important to put Krisk as lead. And now let me show you guys the AI setup. This is the one. For this one, his A3 increased speed, I only have to use once and it's done. So set it like opener and don't use. For Lanakis, it's kind of same thing. For the increased crit rate, I only need to use it once and it will never expire. So opener and don't use. For Godseeker, you don't have to do this. It doesn't really matter. And for Brogni, for his A3, the block debuff and increased attack, again same thing. Opener and don't use. And Dracomorph doesn't really matter. Alright, so now let me show you guys the actual clan boss key. And I might fast forward the clan boss key a little bit because it just takes too long. So let's get into it. Alright, doesn't matter. I will just hit continue. And one good thing about this comp is if you're only looking for one key, it's much faster than unkillable clan boss team. So look at this. Krisk is gonna place. Alright, so all these buffs are placed. Okay, extend buffs and Brogni increase shield. Look at the shield right now. Look at this shield. Look at all these tags pop up. Another good thing about this is this comp is very satisfying to watch. I can literally sit on my chair for like 30 minutes just to watch this. The buff is gonna be very thick. Like, I think at like turn 30 or 40, I couldn't see the green. So yeah, the buffs are pretty much at 3 turns or 4 turns, and it will never expire. And by the turn 50, all these buffs are going to be like 10 turns duration. So yeah, I think I will just fast forward the clan boss key a little bit. I mean, edit the video, not to make the video too long. Alright guys, so like I said, this is my very first clan boss video on my channel, so hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, just leave a comment below, and yeah, until next time, bye!